Global climate change is gradual change in the climate system caused by both natural and artificial causes. These are severe effects on agriculture, from altered rainfall patterns affecting farming activities on farms which are reliant on rain-fed irrigation. Farmers from different regions have embraced technologies such as conservation agriculture in order to address prolonged seasons of drought.
My background is farming. I've been farming since I was a small boy, and that brought me to Kenya many years ago, and I've married into a Kenyan family that has been doing agriculture here for up to around about 100 years.
In Laikipia, we meet farmers who have embraced this technology, a principle in agriculture which encourages minimal disturbance to the soil, hence aiding the soil to retain moisture content for longer.
For us here on Maize, we sourced the soil, which was the black cotton soil. The black cotton soil is a soil that can hold moisture, and using the technology that was brought to us many years ago, which is conservation agriculture, we then applied that in a mixture with the soils. So conservation agriculture is a number of factors that bring everything together in order for us to farm on a very marginal rainfall system. Zero till, meaning that you do not put a machine into there to turn the soils. The reason for that is basically no moisture loss, and all the nutrients that have been pushed through the blanket that you have put on there retain in the soil. So good environment for earthworms. Once you start seeing that in the fields, your next following crop that you can either dry plant or wet plant, depending on your crop that you're looking at doing, has the nutrient value already there. Moisture, oxygen, and lastly, we have water. So another thing that we're looking for while we walk in the fields is to see how much of the soil is actually cracking and allowing air to go into the fields. If you have a look here, you'll be able to see some of the smaller cracks forming on the top of the soil. And what that is black cotton is traditionally known as self-tilling. I'll show you further out when we walk outside. There'll be some bigger cracks. This is filled quite nicely because of the residue from previous crops, but traditionally black cotton is self-tilling. So there's no need to till black cotton soils, and that gives us a lot of opportunity for the conservation agriculture.
Leaving behind residues from previous crops to act as mulch reduces on evaporation, hence more water retained in the soils.
You can actually see in here there's quite a lot of weeds that have grown up, and that's due to us having the crop growing very slowly. Once it gets to a height, we're not able to spray the weeds off. But if you look into the actual size of the crop here, you can actually still see that there is residue from the previous crop, and that's why this crop has actually survived.
Seed selection is also very key for high germination rate. Farmers should buy seeds from certified seed dealers and acquire more knowledge on adaptability in different climatic zones to encourage high yields.
So this is a hybrid variety. We're looking at what the cob would look like inside. And as you can see, for a maize crop that we had 143 mils, she looks pretty good. And if you look at most of the cobs are there, and then right the way through the field like that. So at the end of the day, nice clean white maize, and it's traditionally a lot bigger than this, but using conservation agriculture, we ensure that we actually had some crop generated from this.
On the other side of the farm is sunflower farming. Matthew is in charge of this section. The crop has also endured the harsh climatic condition and managed a 95% successful rate.
There's two companies, but together we're doing about almost 5,000 acres. Started in 2014, so we've been doing 7 years, about 7 years now, expanding pole pole. We do a variety of different crops for rotation, and we're utilizing a technique called conservation agriculture. The idea being that all the rain that is falling on the soil is conserved. So we're not, in order to do that, because we're in a low rainfall environment, we don't ever want to lima, so we're zero till, completely zero till. This wheat is lying on the wheat stubble is lying on the surface, keeping that muchanga from getting too dry. Right now you can see these cracks. This is that classic black cotton muchanga, but you see that muchanga is full of roots from the wheat crop, and it's cracking now because it's dry, because the sunflowers have stored most of the moisture. Any moisture that was in there is now mostly out with the sunflower. Basically now we're just waiting for it to dry off a bit. You can see the quichua is nice and big. That comes from it being a hybrid. Where the sunflower is something that needs to be planted very well spaced and quite thin, because each plant can get very big and take up a big area. You can see the leaves are taking a lot of light. So if somewhere it's planted a bit close together, you get small quichuas. Somewhere you've got a bit more space, you'll get a nice big quichua like this, and then that's where the yield will come from.
So what is the recommended space between?
I think it's five plants per square meter. Yeah, it's about at optimum yield there. Yeah.
Big four agenda for Kenya is agriculture, and for us food security is, or should be, number one for us. And in order to drive that, we should look at improving our yields, improving how we do things. That can then bring up our food security. It'll be much more competitive in the world markets. What the government could do to aid that is possibly looking at fuel differentials to farmers, looking at fertilizer differentials to farmers, and then obviously the taxation of machinery. Those are the things that can support, as well as the farmers doing their bit by improving their yields, by using better seeds, better fertilizers, and better inputs.
Adaptation and mitigation measures are important in dealing with climate change impact on agriculture. This will ensure food security and sustainability. Susan Mwangi for KTN News.